Welcome to the Trying to Be Better podcast with Joel and Steve.
Okay, we're recording.
I'm still messing with my mic setting. Sorry.
Oh,
Welcome to the Trying to Be Better podcast with Joel and Steve. My name is Joel,
and I'm Steve.
and this is our podcast.
It is. This is the exactly where we're at edition of Trying to Be Better podcast.
Happy fucking Easter.
Happy fucking Easter.
To all
I went to
those-
church with my mom this morning.
Yeah.
It was nice.
Good. It was nice.
It was nice. The music was great.
Yeah.
I don't know that it did a lot for me spiritually, but I mean, it was nice to see my mom, and I know it made her happy, and that was kind of the goal. And
Yeah.
music was great, and yeah, big brass choir, and you know,
Pulled
cool.
out all the proverbial stops.
Actually, yes, that's I believe the expression that would be appropriate.
Is that an expression from that's an organ?
Organs.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Did they
pull
have
out
an
all the
organ?
stops.
Did they actually
Yeah.
pull out stops in the organ?
The organ is a at St. Mark's United Methodist Church is it does have like a console,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't see any pipes. I don't think it's actually a pipe organ. I think it's an electronic. For somebody that plays a pipe organ, they could sit down and play that with the pedals and the stops and everything, but the stops are all virtual is what it looks like.
Got it.
Yep. But you know, it's a thing.
Yeah.
Mhm.
My old church had the big pipes. It was fascinating.
Oh yeah, pipe organs are awesome.
Yeah. Wild.
One of the greatest musical whatever experiences I've ever seen is we stumbled into the Mormon Tabernacle in Salt Lake City when I was in town for my cousin's wedding
Mm-hmm.
and got treated to like they were rehearsing,
Mm.
and that organ is something else.
Yeah. That
Mhm.
whole situation is something else.
Yeah, well, that is most definitely true, and that's a whole. I mean, I had an experience there where with trying to be recruited,
Oh yeah.
and I'm like, yeah, I gotta. This is where we're and seen.
I feel like there's been attempts to recruit me in a couple of different ways from those folks.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I used to, when I was a senior in high school, and it was this girl named Brenda, and she was Mormon, and like clockwork, man. Brenda was super nice. I mean, she was cool, but she started out the night, you know, having some beers and partying and whatever, and within 90 minutes to 2 hours, she'd be crying and hating herself, and just racked with guilt, like every time. It was so incredibly predictable.
3, 2, 1. There she
Oh,
is.
I can't believe it. I'm so ashamed. I can't. We're all like, oh boy. We'll just kind of put Brenda, you know.
Oh, Brenda.
Yeah. She's cool. I wonder what happened to her.
I wonder what happened to Brenda. I wonder if she found her way to the inner temple. And
I don't know. I mean, I hope so. She was nice. She was cool.
Brenda, if you're out there, you can
Sure.
email.
What Brenda's problem was is that she was running with the wrong crowd.
I mean,
Clearly.
that was a convenient excuse for my mistakes too.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
That way you
No.
didn't have to take any responsibility for them. You could
Yeah,
just blame the people that you were around.
Sometimes when it
Mhm.
you know, I couldn't use it all the time, but yeah. Brenda, if you're out there,
Yeah.
email the show at ttbbpodcast@gmail.com.
And we'll send you a sticker.
We'll send you a sticker.
You know, I feel our friend and past guest Dave Gracie mentioned when I was in Chicago with him this last week, that I didn't have any stickers to slap on things.
I have some in my car, and I slap them on drive-through window things.
Oh, nice. So
Yeah.
Vandalism. That's cool.
Well, there's a couple of places that it's kind of the norm to do it at.
Oh, I see.
The De Leon's on 48th and Van Dorn being one.
Okay.
Yeah, I need to get them out there. I need to send them to a couple people. I need to put on my.
The guy that literally sent you a self-addressed stamped envelope.
Well, now I'm just stalling because I'm an asshole.
Armando, I love you, and not as much as Joel does, but I know Joel loves you a lot.
Yeah.
But also, I love Samite too.
Oh
And
yeah.
I think it'd be really nice if you guys would do a 4th season.
I feel like
I
so.
don't think they're going to, but
I don't think so either. I think that they're gonna.
maybe they'll do
Well,
one in 2036 or 7.
2036. I think that I finished all of Weeping Cedars. I finished Samite. I think I finished. Did I finish? Yeah, I finished Rot of Amber, another podcast in that
Mm.
universe. And I think that all of those stories are going to weave together. So we may.
Oh,
That's
okay.
how I.
So what I'm hearing is that I need to listen to Weeping Cedars now.
Yeah, but buckle up because it's a lot, and it's
Mm.
like a 3-prong. It's like it's they're short, so you can like get them in on your commute to work or
Yeah, yeah.
whatever. But there is like a you know, a fictitious investigative story, and then there is like the Weeping Cedars like local radio, and then there are
Oh,
these little like voicemails here and there later on,
uh-huh.
and
Voicemails.
it is sprawling, and there's a lot of information, but it's a slow burn of very interesting uh, storylines. And if
Well,
you,
I'm here for the slow burn.
yeah, it's cool. Yeah,
Hmm.
it's very cool.
So, getting back to our raison d'etre of, now pet content. How's Maven?
Dude, she's fucking fucked up.
What happened?
So yesterday, it's kind of why I'm not as guy smiley as I normally am. So yesterday, we had tickets and plans to hang out with past guest Sadie
Uh-huh.
Thompson and her husband Lewis, and we were going to go out to dinner at the Dish and go see a modern dance show at the Lead. And I knew that Maven would be home for 4 hours ish, 5 hours
Right.
ish. So I'm like, well, Colin, my brother texted me and was like, "Hey, you want to go on a walk?" And I was like, "Yeah, that's great. Like, she's gonna get disgustingly muddy and really wore out. Like, we're gonna
Yeah, yeah.
go. We go to this place that's just why my directions are off, but I think it's just like just west. I'm sorry, yeah, just west of the regional center
Oh,
because
uh-huh.
he used to live near there.
I remember that one song, Just West of the Reach.
I think it was a western, wasn't it?
Yeah.
West of East. Well, there's east of Eden and then there's west of Rege. That was what's his name? His lesser known the lesser known sequel is called West of the Rege.
West of the Reach. There you go.
So yeah,
Anyway,
West
sorry.
of the Regional Center, and Maven was having a great time, just bounding around, having a ball, and
Uh-huh.
she goes running through the creek, gets disgustingly muddy and dirty, everything's happy, and then she gets back up on the other side of the bank where we're at. And I notice her holding her back foot, which is not uncommon. Like, she's kind of sensitive, so if she gets a boo-boo on there, she kind of holds it for a bit and then walks on it and is fine. But she was holding it and kept sitting down. I was like, uh-oh. I went over there and she had tore open one of her toe beans and it was bleeding out. And we were probably, I don't know, maybe a mile and a quarter from the road, and then another stretch to where we parked. So we're like, fuck. So I happened to have a bandana with me, so we wrapped it around her foot. And then, she's 42 pounds, so like
Right.
I carried her for a while, and I'm like, Colin, you gotta take her. And he carried her for a while, and we switched back and forth. Anyway, we took her to the emergency vet, which shout out to the emergency vet people. They are
That place on Highway 2
yeah,
by Shogun.
yeah,
Mhm.
they are understaffed, overworked, and hearts twice as big.
Right.
And so we took her there, and so I was cool. I was fine. I was like, okay, I just figured like it was like a human, like
Right.
they're gonna maybe give you a topical anesthetic and give you some stitches, and we'll go home. Like once we get seen, this will be a 45-minute venture.
Right.
Well, once we got seen, they're like, we're gonna need to sedate her, and we're kind of backed up, so you need to leave her here. And that's when I got really emotional. Like I start crying. I'm like, fuck, I
Mm.
wasn't prepared to leave her here. And
Right.
with like recent deaths in the family, I was honestly, and I don't use this word a lot, but I was triggered. I was like, fuck, I don't want to leave a loved one here at a
Right.
hospital. I don't want to do that because sometimes they don't come home. Anyway, this is my opportunity to reference Brene Brown and her concept of FFTs. Do you know what she
Maybe if you continue.
this stands for in her family or in her circles, they call like if it's the first fucking time you've ever done something,
Oh, yeah,
it's an
yeah.
FFT. And Kirsten and
Mhm.
I acknowledge that this is an FFT because this is the
Mhm.
first time like our dog has had a really gnarly injury. Well, it seemed,
Right.
I mean, it was gnarly. Like her Tobian was sliced in half and she was bleeding everywhere. I was kind of covered in Maven blood. And it was the first fucking time. So I was like, really like, oh shit, I don't want to leave her here. And so we did that. I'm like, okay, she'll be seen, whatever. They said it would be under 6 hours. I'm like, okay, that's 10 o'clock. So we canceled the plans with our friends. That was a
Yeah, yeah.
bummer. We haven't gone out like that in a minute. So that was kind of a bummer. For me and for Kirsten. And then I called them and they're like, yeah, we're really, I mean, I want to thank my sister Jordan, my younger sister Jordan, who is a vet tech. She lives out in Washington now. But I called her because I called the emergency vet and they're like, yeah, she's still in her kennel. She hasn't been seen yet. We had a shift change and we're really, really busy. And I about lost my shit, dude. I was like, I was
Right.
gonna be one of those customers. And thank God I wasn't. I mean, I called her. I was like, what the fuck is this about? She's like, well, if she hasn't been seen yet, that's a good sign because she's not at the top of the heap. Like it's not bad. Like they've got her
Right.
cleaned and bandaged. She's just waiting to get stitches. It's not an emergency. If she was seen first, it would be bad. So I was like, okay, triage. I get it. So I was just really emotional. I mean, it was just hard. It was just hard to leave her there. It was new. It was a new experience for me. So it was really emotionally draining for both of us. And they called us about, I don't know, 8:30 or 9 o'clock. We dropped her off at we left at 4-ish. We went back. They called us about 8:30 or 9, picked her up, bunch of meds. I mean, she was like just coming out of the
Anesthesia.
yeah, dude, she was high as fuck. Like big, huge cone of shame, totally
Right.
lethargic. She was so out of it. Like we just got her home and um, laid her down on her dog bed, and she was there, just like kind of. We were just checking on her, but she'd apparently wet the dog bed. She was so high. It was just like hard. It was just really hard and shitty, And
Mhm.
this was our first fucking time doing it. Anyway, we were up several times last night with her. She kept trying to get the cone of shame off of her. She fucking hates
You're
it.
right. Oh, I'm sure. Dogs
Yeah.
don't like that thing.
Yeah. No. And so,
At least she has a neck to put one around. With the pugs, the cone of shame, it doesn't really work.
yeah, how the fuck would you do that on a pug?
You don't. You just have to. Yeah, just have to deal. It's not great.
What about the donut? Did you ever do one
I
of
don't
those?
remember.
You ever
I don't
try a
remember.
donut for them?
I don't know. It's one of those times it'd be nice to have a memory.
So anyway, I could give a fuck about Easter. I'm just kind of like
Right.
out of it. I don't have. I guess Kirsten was like, I'm like, I'm going down to pot. She's like, why? I'm like, well, I don't. I mean, I guess this is where
What
we
do you mean,
talk.
Kirsten? Hold on a second. What do you mean? Why?
No, she was just like concerned for my well being. Like she wasn't pissed at us, but
Isn't this where you come to rejuvenate?
yeah, but it's hard because I'm like, I as an actor, there's this vibe of like, and maybe this is really good because it's like I don't need to be on. I'm just being
No.
fucking real. Like
Right.
I don't give a.
I was gonna.
I'm at a point
I'm.
where I don't give a shit about any of
I'm
this.
starting to question the nature of our podcasting relationship,
No,
Joel.
no,
Is this all of false? Is this just an act?
no. It's not an act. I think that sometimes. Well, sometimes I think that there's a default I can kick into.
Hey, everybody, welcome to the
Right.
Trying to Be Better podcast
Yeah,
with
like,
Joel and Steve.
What am I going to talk about? Let's be the feeling like I've got to be interesting or something other. I definitely have felt that here and there, and there was a part of me that's like, I don't think I can even feign that today, and
Good.
that's good. Like, as
Yeah.
I'm talking about
Bring
it,
the pain.
yeah,
Bring the apathy.
it also helps that 95% of my therapy appointments are virtual. So this is where I sit.
Same.
Yeah. So anyway,
Well, I
thank you
have
for letting
empathy.
me just be real.
I have empathy for that situation because, like, when Maggie the pug was sick and dying, I drove her down to K-State because her pancreas was not functioning anymore, and they were like, "Okay, well, we'll call you."
Ugh.
And I was like, "Well, what do you mean?" Like, "Well, I mean, we'll call you." Like, "You mean this is like," they're like, "Yeah, no, we'll like this is gonna be a couple days probably." I was like, "But what do you, but,"
Ugh.
so then I just had to leave the little smushy face down there, and then she ended up, like a week later dying.
I
So then I
can't.
drove down. So I drove down and picked up her corpse and drove it back here so she could be cremated in Nebraska.
Dude,
It was a long drive home.
I can't imagine that.
Yeah, it was horrible.
I mean, I can imagine
horrible.
it more now than I ever have been able to,
Mhm.
honestly.
It was awful, actually.
Yeah, I didn't want to fucking leave her because especially when I
Nope.
called back and they're like, "Yeah, she's in a kennel. She's bandaged. She hasn't been seen." I'm like, I lost it again. I was like, "She's just in a kennel." Like, what is she thinking? She's just there, like, all right. I knew they were going to drop me off at another kennel. I knew they picked me
Well,
up at
here,
one. They're going to leave me
yeah,
at one. I knew it.
that's right. It's
Fucking
like,
knew
well,
it.
this is so it goes. This is what happens. You ever get really attached to people, and then they just drop you off.
They just drop you off in some strange land. I was worried. Like, I got
That might be,
injured. They don't want me anymore.
they don't want me anymore. That might be projection a little bit.
It is because I talked. Thanks again to my. Thank you. I'm really glad that Colin was with me for that, to have him there,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
also being able to call my sister who works in veterinary science, and she was like, "Oh no, she's not thinking that. She's just like laying there looking around, watching all
Right.
the other shit show that's going on. Like, she's not sitting there judging you. She's just present with that." I'm like,
That's everybody else.
that's everybody else. That's me. I'm sitting there feeling that.
Judging me. Yeah,
I'm sitting there
yeah.
putting my brain into her brain, judging
Mhm.
myself.
Yeah, no,
I'm
she's a
telling
dog.
this intricate story about how
Mhm.
I'm a piece of shit. I will
Right.
go,
Well, that's like a common theme, actually.
"Oh, I can spin a yarn, my friend, and the end of the yarn is me as a giant turd."
Turd. Yeah, great. So same as it ever was.
Yeah, it's nothing's changed.
Nothing's changed. Yeah.
So that's
Mhm.
where I'm at today, everybody.
Cool.
Maybe I'll put a photo up of her in the cone of shame, maybe.
That'd be good. Yeah, let's just heap some indignity on top of your dog.
Yeah, poor
Make
thing.
a public spectacle out of her.
Yeah, and you know what? She doesn't deserve that. She doesn't
doesn't-
consent.
She
You know what I
doesn't
mean?
consent.
She
Yeah.
doesn't consent to a digital presence. She's a
No, she doesn't.
canine.
She's a canine.
You're
That's
not gonna
right.
teach
She
shit.
has digital rights.
She has digital rights, and I'm not gonna exploit her for my own podcast gains.
See, there you go.
Let's talk about Chicago.
Yeah, dude, I went to Chicago. Me and both past guests and friends of ours I went with past guests and friends Jack Van Cleve and David Gracie. And we went to Chicago to attend the 4th annual conference of the Grateful Dead Studies Association.
Yeah, how was that, man? But
It
first
was
off, I did
it
have
was
some
really
FOMO.
amazing.
I had some FOMO. I was like, saw you guys like eating pizza. I'm like,
Yeah,
God
dude.
damn it.
Yeah, you should have gone.
It's like I had the weekend too to go. I mean, what the fuck
Yeah,
was
you
wrong
blew
with
it.
me? I blew
I
it.
don't know. But yeah, it was really, really it's always funny when you say you went to what? People are like, what? The Grateful Dead Studies Association is well, I guess it's kind of loosely associated with the archives in the University of California, Santa Cruz.
Mhm.
But it's an academic. It's actually wrapped up. I mean, there is the Grateful Dead Studies Association, but their annual conference is wrapped up in a larger Popular Culture Association,
Uh-huh.
Popular Culture Association annual meeting.
Uh-huh.
And so there's like a lot of groups. I mean, there's probably, round numbers, 50 people there for the Dead thing.
Oh, yeah.
But I mean, this is a much, much larger, it's at the Marriott on the Magnificent Mile in Chicago, and much larger conference. I'll just read a sampling of some of the other groups that were there.
Yeah.
Okay, so there were many conferences on all of these topics: adolescence in film and television, African American culture, aging and senior culture, border studies, cultural economy and migration patterns, British popular culture, cannabis and culture, uh, cultural adaptation, creative fiction writing, fairy tales,
Hmm.
food in popular culture, Grateful Dead, happiness and culture, law and popular culture, literature and madness. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Um, mystery and detective fiction, popular and psychology and popular culture, Shakespeare on film and television, Stephen King, the 60s.
Stephen King.
Yeah, right. Visual culture, war and armed conflict after 1945, World's Fairs and expositions. And these are all, at least in the case of the Grateful Dead studies one, the presenters, for the most part, were all PhDs, a few
Mhm.
master's degrees running around. But it was really, it was just interesting. What it is just next level nerdery about the Grateful Dead
Yeah, it's
from people that actually know things. Like, for example, you're familiar with the good old Grateful Dead podcast.
Mhm. Mhm.
Well, we met and got to talk with Jesse Jarno.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And we also got to hang out with our friend and past guest Mike McClure from Guest of the Year.
So was he a panelist or was he just there?
Yeah, Mike, we had to miss Mike's panel was documenting the dead, tapes, archives, and statistics. No, sorry. It was Dead to the World, podcasting, public history. And Mike, like we were flying to Chicago when this thing was going, so we had to miss that, which was a total bummer.
Yeah.
But there was a panel called Sky Yellow, Sun Blue, The Dead and the Art World. And the thing with that is a guy started commissioning independent art pieces from artists that aren't necessarily deadheads, just that he knew or ran into or whatever.
Mhm.
40 different pieces, and the only like prompt, he's like, "Hey, I would like to commit. Will you do a commission piece?" And the prompt is, it needs to be around the song lyric, "The sky was yellow and the sun was blue."
Wow. That's it.
That's it. And he would ask for an artist's statement,
Yeah.
and then just turn them loose. And the things that people came back with, it was a wide-ranging discussion.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Like,
That's
it was
really
very,
cool.
I mean, the interpretations of that, some were whimsical, some were fantastical, some were apocalyptic,
Right. Yeah.
which really encapsulates that thing,
Yeah, for
right?
sure. Yeah.
I mean, it was a fascinating conversation, and just some of the art was like, "Oh my god."
That's really cool.
And I have a little booklet of it, which I'm not gonna show you, but I'll show you sometime. It's really fantastic. Then like, session 5, was legacy, continuity, and adaptation in the Deadhead phenomenon, who is
Mhm.
chaired by Rebecca Adams. And Rebecca Adams was the woman when I first started getting in the Dead in 89, 90. She taught a class at the University of North Carolina in Greensboro, where she took kids on tour.
Oh, nice.
Right. She was the first like Grateful Dead academic, really.
Oh, I think you've told me about her. She, like,
Yeah, yeah.
took her like, it was a class. It was like a summer
Yeah, it was
class.
100%. Yeah. And so she was there, got to meet her, really far out. But so, like, here's, for example, Adam Brown, Skeletons in the Closet, Navigating Stigma and Disclosures of Deadhead Identity Across Generations.
Whoa.
Exactly. Sam Cooper presented on The Stars Were Set in Spin, Ritual, Dance, Revolution, and Community on Modern Day Dead Tour.
Modern Day Dead Tour.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And another one was Maybe You'll Find Direction, Teaching Improvisation Through the Grateful Dead and Experiential Learning Theory.
Oh my god.
Right. It's serious stuff.
Dude,
And
why didn't
so
I fucking go to this?
I don't know. We can go next year.
I think I will.
So one of the also really interesting presentations was in the session on learning with the dead, art history, deadhead crafts, and pedagogical. How do you say pedagogical theory?
Yeah, that's a whole thing. People say pedagogy. Some people say pedagogy.
Okay, well, I heard pedagogy, and I was
Yeah.
like, "What the fuck's pedagogy?" Anyway, and the guy looked at me like, "You're not a presenter, are you?" I'm like, "No, I'm not."
You're not a teaching academic, are you?
No, I'm not. And I told people that. I said this like I don't know a dozen times this week. I'm like, I'm just a deadhead. This guy's name was Stephen Garabedian, and his thing was the bus came by and I got on teaching the Grateful Dead to first year students. And here's where it gets interesting. So much of this conference, I mean, it was dead adjacent and
Sure.
dead influence, but this thing is the first part of his presentation was how COVID is still affecting academia in the sense that kids are so racked either with like their COVID learning babies. So like Zoom, like they just missed a couple of years because they were on Zoom and they like have a hard time literally because of anxiety or whatever, just getting their ass to class.
Can confirm.
Yeah. Well, Dave was like, yeah. And it's just this, it's lazy kids just need to pull themselves up by their roofs. No, it's more than that.
It's way more than that. Yeah.
Yeah, it runs deep. And so what he's doing is using this class he teaches, and I forget the name of it now. It's like a first year seminar thing, like
Yep.
welcome to higher learning.
Yep.
Yeah. And so he teaches this, and the short version of the story is that he uses the dead. The capstone project is the kids, they work in groups of 4 based on their artistic talents or proclivities and make a Grateful Dead single.
Whoa.
To include writing the song, making the art, and then performing it.
Wow. So these are music students specifically.
No, not necessarily. And he takes, I mean, not everybody can do those things. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like you spend a term studying Robert Hunter, studying the Wall of Sound, studying culture, and which is kind of interesting. And then like if you need to like crib a song, like pick a song and just rewrite some words.
Yeah.
And use AI to generate some art, fine. That's not the point. But some of the projects were like heart-wrenchingly good.
Yeah.
Because one of the themes that he said, he's like kids that really struggled with like functioning in life would latch onto this project and got some benefit out of it. Like all these people have data to show this. Like he has data points to show like this is working.
Yep.
Right.
Well, from my academic view, I teach in a seminar class, a three levels seminar class. I teach the 3rd level, which is a little more amorphous, but because I teach in that, and I'm sure this guy's school is the same, because I teach in that, you have to, it's a university investment of assessment. You have to assess this stuff.
Yes.
So at the end of there's like, I have to pick like 3 assignments. And then at the end, there's like, essentially prescribed rubrics that you have to assess the students in this. So the data shows up universally readable to the university. I really want, like, did they record any of this stuff for you as an attendee? Fuck.
Unfortunately, no. But
you access his talks, his papers?
Maybe.
I gotta find that.
He would be happy to talk to you. Super cool guy.
I actually, if you can get me his information, I'm gonna email him.
Well, I will. But so when he played one of the final projects, and the thing that was interesting is that, for the most part, the kids regard, in hindsight being what it is, of course, most of us feel this way, but like Garcia in particular, his struggles with addiction, which started off as, innocent fun and ended up really not being that.
Right. No, it wasn't innocent, nor was it fun.
Exactly. Yeah. 100% right. I don't know that it was ever actually innocent, but you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
regarded as like it's a tragedy, right?
Mhm.
And so this song was written and then performed by this young woman that addressed Garcia's brilliance and the tragic nature of what ended up happening with him in a way that, like, the room was basically crying.
Oh my God. Yeah.
And he was like, and the professor was like, "Any questions?" We're all like, you know, I mean,
No.
it was amazing.
Yeah.
Mhm. And then some of the, I mean, so that was like a high point. Some of the other presentations got a little mental masturbation-y,
Sure. Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
I don't care. Like, this is, I don't, whatever.
Academics, baby.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. But somebody, I'm sure, got something out of it. Um, but yeah, overall, it was, I mean, just getting to meet Jesse Jarno was very
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
Nice guy.
Yeah.
And then, do you remember that Vice motherboard article on the Wall of Sound that came out like 7, 8 years
Yeah.
ago?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I met that guy.
Oh wow.
Yeah, he was there. He's writing a full book on the Wall of Sound.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. Hmm.
Wow.
Yeah. His name is escaping me now. Brian Armstrong, maybe?
I would like just the master list of all the people that presented, especially
Yeah, I have that actually here.
because there's
I'll let you borrow it.
the one that you mentioned something too about what was it like ritual dance and improvisational dance on current
Yep.
Dead tours.
Yep.
I've always been fascinated, and I would love to piece together some semblance of a research grant or something to. And I mean, Dead and Company is probably waning, but to be able to track, and since I've been on the bus, I've been specifically fascinated by the roots of the acid tests continually present in current Grateful Dead live experiences amongst the audience.
Yes.
That lineage or that trajectory, that DNA is wildly fascinating to me as a cultural phenomenon.
Well, that's the whole point of this conference. Like that, think of that as the Big Bang, right?
Right.
That's the Big Bang, and then all this, it just goes on forever and ever and ever.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that I'll stand on my soapbox for a
Please.
minute and say, people are like, "Oh, Grateful Dead, you should really listen to actual serious music." I'm like, you have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah. Well, that's
You have literally the level of ignorance behind those sorts of statements is astounding.
well, it's like saying, gosh, I'm trying to find it's hard to find a comparison.
Right.
Like, it's like saying, I don't know, like baseball is only for the sale of hot dogs, right? Like you
Right.
can't. I mean, it's like that's such a limited view. If you're just looking at the Grateful Dead as a band that made music,
Well, that's, but I mean, it's not, but I mean that if your only exposure to them is what's played on the local classic rock station,
yeah.
and then that one idiot kid in high school that wore all the tie-dyes and was loud.
That was my prejudice with Grateful Dead.
Right.
Especially in the early '90s. Like it was like, oh,
let's just put this.
you just bought a tie dye and went and bought a bunch of mushrooms. Like, how is that interesting? But you
Yeah, well,
look. I mean, it can be internally, but like the cultural impact of that as a movement or as a uniquely American experience is pretty powerful.
Unparalleled.
Yeah, it's pretty powerful.
It's unparalleled. There's nothing like it before or since. And it's still going on. And that was one of my, so was it Thursday night? Thursday night, we met at like I knew that there was like a dance party for the conference.
Mhm.
But then there was one of the Dead Scholar people. There's we met at Harry Carey's steak joint downtown.
Yeah.
But in one of like a room in that place, and that was, I think, associated with Frank Nitti.
Okay.
Like I think that building was like an Al Capone stronghold.
Nice.
But anyway, yeah, it was a private party with Chicago's longest running and probably best Grateful Dead band, Mr. Blotto. They'd been playing since 1991.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and so they played and they were great. Mr. Blotto's awesome. Need to get those guys to Lincoln. But I mean, Chicago's Tear Up on Flyers from Chicago, a little band called Dark Star Orchestra's from Chicago.
Oh, they're from Chicago?
Yep.
Did not know that.
And yeah, they used to play it. What the heck's the name of the place? Anyway, yeah, Dark Star Orchestra originated in Chicago. So yeah, Mr. Blotto played, and they had, I mean, there was nice food spread, and Mr. Blotto was awesome, and just it was a social hour,
Yeah.
And so we got to meet some people, and I met a woman whose name is escaping me right now, who is an academic, but we were talking, and she expressed interest in helping me formalize my journey as a deadhead into something formal that could be presented.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Yeah. And I'm like, yeah, I'm in. So we exchanged information, and I hope to, get that going here.
Yeah, you got to follow up on that. I mean, yes, I encourage that because you're my dear friend Steve, and you are my, you were my concierge to the bus. But
step right on in.
I'll toot your hooter for a second. Listening, getting. That's what I told Mike. Like the listeners of Guess the Year getting the experience of your savantism.
That's funny. Yeah. Right.
Savantism of the Grateful Dead and their gear and what year they were using what and what sound was this and all of that. And then you couple that with your own personal experience from being a degenerate lost kid in the wilderness to an upstanding sober man in the community, still on the bus, still digging and the music being the toboggan down that hill, like is a fascinating fucking story. And I think that it would bridge a gap between this academic study and the Deadhead. It would be a accessible story, I think I hope you follow up with that.
Well, yeah, I intend to. And yeah, I mean, you're not, I mean, I thank you for saying that, but other people have said that too, like for example Mike McClure.
Yeah, right.
He's like, yeah man, you should do that. And so I think and by the way, because like we met Mike out in Boulder, but we actually got to hang out with him a little bit, like spend a day with him basically.
Nice. Yeah.
And he's just the best dude.
Oh, he seems like just all sugar.
He's so great, man. I love that guy a lot. Mike, hello if you're listening. And I, by the way, I'm not kidding about that VW electric bus.
You sprung that on him?
What? I've told him that. It's kind of a running joke at this point. Like when he makes it big, like if he needs to work on that sponsorship with Volkswagen so that when I do the Tournament of Champions, I'll get the ID Buzz bus.
Yes.
That's what I'm looking for.
Yeah. That's because I may get to ride in it. I want that to happen.
That's what I'm saying.
We could podcast from that.
That would be great.
On tour.
Why don't we work on our Volkswagen sponsorship?
Honestly, that may be, maybe. Here's the thing. And to answer a really important question that I feel a little weird that I revealed that Kirsten asked why. It's like,
oh boy, yeah.
What if once this semester's over, you and I do actually work on,
making this a more formalized thing?
Yeah, dude.
Oh, might become work.
I don't know. I'm at a point where it's all work. You know what I mean?
Understand.
It's all work.
No, I appreciate that. In fact, I had this same conversation with our friend and past guest Darren Keene at lunch in Chicago.
Oh yeah, you got to hang out with Darren.
You got to hang out with Darren Keene. It was great. So good to see Darren. He's doing great.
Yeah, he seems to be thriving in that particular city.
He's doing very well. He lives in Chinatown and works up in Logan Square, I think it is. And then like he's got a situation where he can just go out on tour when he needs to or wants to. And yeah, it was great to see Darren. He's doing very well. He's a good dude.
His more recent song, Covered in Glue.
Yeah, I took a picture of him on that same bridge. We walked across the bridge that video was filmed on. The story of that was pretty, like he said, it was like freezing that day. It was so cold.
Yeah.
And like when he got home, like getting the glue off was kind of an adventure. Because he's covered in glue.
I can imagine.
Yeah. Like layers and layers and layers of frozen Elmer's glue.
Well, he's not shy at all about. I mean, the first time I ever saw the show as the Rainbow, I got the most sweatiest, hairiest hug from one Darren Keane in the audience that I've ever gotten in my life. And
Right.
glue sticks to hair. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Oh, yeah. And he has lots of it.
He's got
Like
lots.
lots.
He's a hairy dude.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Love that guy.
Yeah, it was great.
So
it was
what?
wonderful.
You guys
to
had a
see
good
him.
chat.
Yeah, we did. I just talked about because like I'm and then so get this.
Yeah.
Well, I was just talking about like I want to start exploring, like I've been I went to that project joint in Omaha to see Greg Wright
Mhm.
and Eric Aspergren playing. That kind of tore my head off, like the
Mhm.
possibilities there. Like,
Mhm.
wait, I could just make noise music.
Mm-hmm.
I could just do that. So I've been following them. I'm like, this is fascinating
Mm-hmm.
because I love doing that.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been playing a little bit with Jay Kramer here in Lincoln, and mentioned that to Darren. He's like, "Oh, you could totally do this." Darren said it's going to be really fun to watch you free your mind from melody
Ooh.
and stuff along those lines,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And so you want to talk about like synchronicity.
I do.
So like Darren and I mentioned that, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I know Jay," and we tell Jay said blah blah blah. And as we are waiting for our plane at O'Hare to come back to Lincoln,
Mhm.
I look up and Jay Kramer's walking towards me like, "Hey,"
Holy shit.
he was coming back from India.
Oh my God.
He'd been in India for the last with his wife, and I'm like, "Okay,
Yep.
all right,
Yep.
so we're gonna make some weird music."
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is the. Did you get the sign or did you miss it?
No, I got it. Like writ large, 50-foot high flaming letters, so
And
that's very exciting.
yeah. Free yourself from melody.
Yeah, basically. Well, that was funny. I mentioned that because the first time I played with Jay, his wife, her name's Wendy. She's very nice. She's an artist too, but she was funny. She said something to the effect of like, "Wow, you're a melodic player."
Hmm.
And Darren goes, "Yeah, they probably don't hear a lot of that."
I mean, yeah.
So there's an artist from Chicago. This is funny. Her Instagram handle or slash handle is butt mommy.
Okay. Got it.
Butt.mommy. Right, yeah. And I started
Typing
saying,
it down
I
right
just
now.
I started
Don't Google that.
I just started mentioning it today on Instagram. You can, it's fine.
Got it.
And I highly recommend actually. And I started, there was this woman on tour at Project from Chicago. Goes, "Oh yeah, butt mommy, I know her." And then her tour partner currently, whose name is Farrah Fawcett. Darren's going on tour with Farrah like shortly.
Oh, nice.
So they all know each other. It's
Nice.
a small world.
It's a small world. Yeah, man. You're gonna enter your John Cage era.
Well, that's the point.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have the stuff and I have the desire, so why the fuck not?
Yeah, man. I mean, he makes melody. It's just 19 years long.
Right. That was so one of the other, and there was a presentation on Ned Lagan Sea Stones.
Oh, okay.
Which is right up my alley.
Yeah.
And talking about electronic music through the wall of sound, the 1974-75 Lagan Lesh sets.
Oh.
And interviews with Ned, and he's still around, and he talked about like, Phil was limited in the low tones that he could create because of his instrument.
Yeah.
I mean, the low E string whatever vibrates it
Mhm.
can only go so low. Ned says, I can make sound waves a year long.
Yes. Yes.
I mean, like, that's intense. That's
intense.
bass.
That's bass.
Uh-huh.
That's like you're tapping into the vibrations of the earth and shit.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Like, that's kind of the point.
Did you ever? I wonder if there's been any. This is totally random tangent. It's not really a tangent at all, though. Silver Apples. Did you ever hear any? Have you ever heard any silver?
Yeah, that's from the Infrared Roses.
Yeah.
CD. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Silver.
Which is all space.
Yeah. The creator of that spoke at my grad school graduation.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah. I was just like, I wonder if there's any crossover with the Dead World.
Probably. Well, there's a thing on Infrared Roses, I believe, called Silver Apples or something like that. I could be off on that a little bit, so maybe it's not the same thing.
Yeah, I'm thinking of. I think this was sort of the artist moniker.
Oh, okay, never mind then. Different thing.
Okay.
Yep.
Wow.
So anyway, it's been a really far out few days.
Yeah, it has. And you
Mhm.
saw the Grateful Strings or whatever?
Oh yeah, I
What
went
is
and saw Shakedown Strings last night
Shakedown
as a little
Strings?
come down. Yeah, they were great. They're from Kansas City, just 3 guys, bass, fiddle, and guitar, and that was a legitimately great show.
Nice.
And it was even better because it was an early show, 6:30 to 9:30, right
Oh,
up my alley.
that's a show time.
It was great, and
That's
there were a lot of people there, and I'm very glad. It's just one of those things. Like I'm tired. Do I really want to go out?
Mhm.
I'm like, there. Go out, just go again.
The idea of
Party's not
like
going to come to me.
yeah, the party's not coming to you and dead music on strings, that's low impact.
Right,
And it
exactly.
starts at
But you know what?
6:30.
In a way, exactly. But I mean, it wasn't like they were great.
Sure.
Like at first, like, oh, this is nice. But like it got like people were dancing. It got kind of they played Victim of the Crime.
Oh,
Amazing.
okay.
Yeah. It was great. And I'm like, that got my attention. I threw $10 in their tip jar for that.
For Victim of
It
the
was a
Crime.
dance floor killer because I mean it's Victim of the Crime, but it was great. And then they actually led that into a dissonant space like situation,
Mhm.
which then turned into Crazy Fingers.
Oh, nice.
And it was just delightful.
Yeah.
So here's another thing that happened. There's a guy in Lincoln, his name's Tim Knight, and Tim's an older deadhead. Like he saw him at Pershing, older,
Mhm.
But Tim in 19 and I had heard this story before, but it had been a long time. Um, Tim made an Ouroboros,
Oh.
like a clay Ouroboros, which is the Greek mythological snake that's eating its own tail.
Yeah.
Right? Which is figures large in Grateful Dead iconography and storytelling, right?
Yeah.
And Tim took the Ouroboros to Winterland in the winter of 77 and got it to Jerry Garcia.
Wow.
Yeah. He's pounding on one of the stage doors, and this huge guy, what?
Yeah. Yeah.
He's like, I made this for Jerry Garcia. I made this. Can you get it to Jerry? He was like, fine, took it, And and then in I think it was Minneapolis or Madison in 78, Tim was somehow able to get through to Jerry Garcia on the telephone because it was a smaller situation back
Yeah.
then. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? There
Right.
wasn't all of the layers of protection
Right.
and the short he ended up getting like Jerry was like, "Oh, you're the guy that made that? I'll be right down."
Oh, wow.
And he got to talk with Garcia about the Ouroboros that he made and just art for like 15, 20 minutes.
Wow.
Yeah. Like he said, Garcia was just incredibly just delighted to meet him.
Well, yeah, it's like, everything that I've seen about, I mean, I think it's probably true of a lot of artists at that level. It's like, it'd be really boring to just meet somebody for them to tell you how great you
You're
are.
really great. Yeah.
You
No,
know?
no. He said that Garcia was like animated and excited, like bounding down the stairs
Yeah.
to like, oh my God, you're the guy that made that?
Somebody wants to talk about art and it's not mine.
Yeah, literally exactly
Yeah.
that. Yes.
Yeah.
And so what's really during one of the presentations, and I got to figure out which one it was because I honestly can't remember. There was a picture of that Ouroboros.
No shit.
Yeah, I looked at it like, oh my God, I know the guy that made that.
Wow.
You sit on top of Garcia's amp with a candle, and Tim had told me, like, yeah, like Garcia, lit a cigarette off of the candle by the I was like, oh, but I couldn't remember. I'm like, I couldn't confirm 100%. I'm not gonna at an academic conference say, hey, I think I know the guy that made that.
Cite your
Right?
sources, bitch. Shut up.
Pretty much. But I saw Tim last night. I'm like, hey man, I think I saw your Ouroboros. He's like, oh yeah, and he said, and he like the picture of and I'm like, oh my God. So I need to get Tim in touch with whatever presenter that was that had the picture of the Ouroboros to say, I like this guy made that.
Yes.
Really far out.
That's
So
far
anyway,
out.
I think that's all of the cosmic weirdness that happened over the last 4 days.
Yeah, I'm
5
not
days.
surprised though if you go to sort of the mountaintop of Grateful Dead nerdery that the mystery and the magic sort of is inherent in that it's not dry, like
No.
it's steeped in mythology.
There's so much mythology.
Yeah.
And just endless, well, some speculation, but all of it's based on like fragments of facts.
Yeah, you can't present it one of those things and say a bunch of stuff out of your ass. Like
No.
Yeah.
Nope, it's all. I mean, sources cited the whole thing.
peer reviewed, baby.
Yeah, and I think there's a certain. It was kind of Jack commented like he's like we were the only people there that weren't presenters.
Everybody's just watching each other.
Pretty much, yeah. But it's. I mean, it is. It was. I felt it was definitely humbling to be there. You know,
right.
you talk, like I. You know, I mean, I actually said the phrase savant a couple times. Like I guess I'm the guest of the year savant. But by the end of the conference, like, oh, you're the guy that knows all the years.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, that's me.
I know the years.
But like people that have actually spent years of their lives documenting and studying this phenomenon, it's humbling.
Yeah.
Like really humbling.
Yeah, it's cool.
So I just to anybody that may listen to this, I was honored and thrilled and delighted to have attended that conference, and I will go back just to soak it in. It was great.
Plus Chicago,
which I love.
Is it always there?
Chicago?
Yeah.
No, it actually has been the larger. There's actually a couple of these a year, and the larger one for the dead has been in Albuquerque.
Okay.
At the Southwest Conference of the American Popular Culture Association. But it's kind of shifting to Chicago, and I think the next one's actually in Nolens.
Oh, okay.
So it's beignet time, baby.
Yeah.
I've never been to New Orleans, and I think that would be a good excuse to go down there.
I've never been down there either.
Yep. Go talk about dead in the Big Easy.
Busted on Bourbon Street.
Exactly. 100%. Yep. How the Grateful Dead bribed Jim Garrison. Like literally.
Yeah. Far out.
Yeah, you said it, man.
You said it, man. Nobody fucks with the Jesus.
Nobody fucks, and bringing it all back around to Easter.
Nobody fucks with the zombie Jesus.
Nobody.
I saw. I don't know if it was AI generated, but I saw an image yesterday as I was doom scrolling through my feelings of a risen Christ.
Oh no!
Rising with sunbeams all around him, and 4 Ghostbusters trying to wrangle him into the Ghostbusters machines.
What'd you do, Ray?
What'd you do, Ray? What'd you do? I thought of the most sweetest, innocent thing I could think of.
Right? Oh my gosh! So I have to send. Oh fuck! Did I send you the picture of the? I had the AI generated Grateful Dead conference picture.
Yes. You
can use that for the graphic today.
Okay,
that'd be
deal.
Perfect. Yeah,
deal.
Oh yeah, there it is. Yep. Yeah, that's intense. I thought it was really, and if you look at it, it's amazing because it's very, very detailed.
Yeah.
Like if you zoom in, the faces are all. It's pretty intense. But yeah, it was great. I love Chicago. Just shout out to Chicago.
The Windy City.
I'm glad that like we went down to meet Darren down in Chinatown just to get out of the loop for a minute.
Yeah.
And have that experience. But yeah, it was great.
Nice.
Well, dude, I hope Maven is okay
and
heals up and all that.
Thank you. Yeah. And I'm glad we did this. I think that.
Me too.
I'm glad. I'm real glad we did this. And I love you, and I'm glad.
I love you too.
I'm glad you shared so freely about all the things that went down, man. That was cool.
Oh God, it was great.
Yeah, man.
If I told you about all that went down, it'd burn off both your ears.
All right, man.
That's for the Patreon version.
That's for the Patreon, which we probably should set up.
I think so. I think we're heading that. We've been doing this for a while. I feel like we could probably start doing that.
Yeah. Daddy needs a new mic, dude.
Hey, everybody, Venmo Joel.Egger. Is that
right?
Joel.Egger?
Joel
Joel-Egger, so we can get a new microphone.
Yeah, especially if I have to pay vet bills. I can't afford mics now.
Priorities, dude.
All
you
right.
traded the Bluesmobile for a microphone? Okay, I can see that.
That's a good reference. And on that note.
All right. Yep. Later.
Julie catch a rabbit by his head. get there? I don't know. Seems a common way to go. Get down, roll, roll, it's $50 if you dare. Double twist when you hit the air. Look at Julie down below. The levee doing the door pass. Oh, I say roll, Jimmy roll. Gonna get there. I don't know. Seems a common way to go. Get down, roll, 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 broken heart don't feel so bad. You ain't got half of what you thought you had. Rock your baby to and fro, not too fast and not too slow. I say roll, Jimmy roll. Gonna get there. I don't know. Seems a common way to go. Get down, roll, 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 roll. That's the way it's been in town ever since they tore the jukebox down. gonna get there. I don't know. Seems a common way to go. Get out, roll, 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 roll. I say roll, Jimmy, roll. Gonna get there. I don't know. Seems a common way to go. Get out, roll, 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 roll. Get out, roll, 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 roll. Oh, get out, roll, 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 roll,
Don't forget, toot your hooter.